Hello, everyone. Here we are. We're about to get started. Not a whole lot of people here, so I guess I need to go get my headphones. But here's what we got going on. We got a bunch of craziness. Starting out with the crazy Florida man. Got a little bit of crazy stuff about that. And then we will move on to the next one. But this first one is the crazy story about a dolphin that kidnapped a man to build an underwater city.
Lot of news already. Are you in the mood for some fake news? Nope. This man did not say he was kidnapped by dolphins. This photo is being shared across social media, and now it's got the attention of Lee County deputies. Gulf Coast News reporter Mohammed Abdulkalwi is live at the Sanibel Causeway to get the real facts.
Christy, this fake report is pretty wild, and people have been talking to me about it all day. And I was actually in Charlotte County, and people were talking about it up there as well. So here's what the report claims. And the report says that Lee County deputies responded to the Sanibel Causeway and saw a person soaking wet and blueprints in the sand. The fake report also claimed the kidnapping by the dolphins happened on Fort Myers Beach to build an underwater city. This sounds funny, but it's a perfect example of you shouldn't believe everything you see. If you've been on, you may have seen a viral post claiming a Florida man was kidnapped by dolphins and forced to build an underwater city. This post even shows a mugshot of a sunburned man with the words Lee County Sheriff at the bottom.
If that's real, that poor guy needs some help.
It sounds like all fiction to me. I don't know.
This Florida man's story clearly isn't real, but we wanted to know why someone would make a post like this. So we reached out to John Joyce, the CEO of CRS Technology Consulting, and spread quickly online.
The whole intention is to create a message that is just fantastical enough to get people's attention, just believable enough that they might believe it for a second, long enough again to do a repost or a share or to send a link to a buddy. And
we reached out to the Lee County Sheriff's Office. They told us they never arrested the man mentioned in this post, and the deputy in the story doesn't exist. The Sheriff's Office even joked about this, saying no dolphins were harmed in the making of this rumor. When you see posts like this, the best thing to do is to check a credible source, like what we did this morning with the Lee County Sheriff's Office, giving that information really quickly, telling us that this is a fake report, of course. But we're now reporting live here in
a Lake Worth Beach traffic stop is drawing major attention online after a woman was ticketed for holding her phone while driving.
In the video taken by the driver, the deputy says he saw her holding her phone in her right hand. But there's just one problem. She doesn't have a right hand. CBS 12's Tiffany Rizzo.
That's the crazy part. Poor girl. I'm trying to get my earbuds to work, but they're not working right now. So the crazy part is the lady only has one hand and gets her left hand.
What Florida law actually says and whether or not this ticket will hold up in court. Tiffany?
This is the ticket at the center of that viral video. It's a $116 citation for using a handheld wireless device while driving. But when you actually read Florida law, simply holding a phone isn't necessarily illegal.
Get a ticket for driving with a device in your right hand, even if you don't have a right hand.
All right, ma'am. So you're gonna receive a citation for wireless communication device handheld while driving. We got to put the phone down as we operate a motor vehicle.
And you put on there that you saw me with my right hand holding it, yeah?
I did not put that. No, if you want to take it to court.
But that's what you said when you pulled me over, yes?
But attorneys say the bigger question isn't which hand, it's what she was doing with the phone.
Whether she's holding it in her right hand or her left hand, it really doesn't matter. If you are not in a school zone or a construction zone, you are allowed to hold a cell phone.
We sat down with Ticket Clinic lawyer Ted Hollander, who walked us through Florida's statute. While you can't manually type or text while driving, you can use your phone for GPS.
The thing that they skipped over here, everything that they skipped over here was that the woman doesn't have a right hand. Only Florida, people. Only Florida.
And simply holding your phone is only specifically banned in school zones or active work zones. This ticket doesn't indicate the stop happened in either.
And the fact that neither one is checked off tells me that this did not occur in one of those zones.
Hollander says many people simply pay tickets, even when they may have a defense.
So a lot of times people pay tickets that shouldn't be paid. And this could have been one of those examples, but luckily this lady seems to be standing up for herself.
To clarify, texting and driving is a primary offense in Florida, meaning you can be pulled over for that alone. But attorney Patrick Donahue says proving someone was actually texting can be difficult.
Hundreds of tickets. I've actually never seen a texting and driving ticket.
And if you tell an officer you were using your phone for GPS, you aren't required to hand over your device without a warrant.
You don't have to let them look. So you don't have an obligation to allow the officer to verify what you're saying is in fact true.
Again, nothing on this citation indicates texting, only that the phone was being held. The woman says she has requested a hearing and plans to fight the ticket in court. I'm reporting in Palm Beach County, Tiffany.
Well, a tense hours-long standoff finally comes to an end in Hialeah tonight, and federal agents were at the center of it.
NBC6's Valerie Ryan joins us live from the scene. And Valerie, what can you tell us now?
Well, Trina Jawan, there are more questions than answers right now, but Hialeah police confirmed that this is an investigation led by the Department of Homeland Security involving a man who barricaded himself inside of this Hialeah home earlier today. Tear gas launched into a Hialeah
Eyes ain't playing around today.
After round as Homeland Security agents surrounded the
Hialeah
property,
too.
weapons drawn.
We've seen them throw a lot of tear gas, around like 20 rounds of tear gas into the house. We've seen them break the windows, the doors.
For these seniors at Hialeah Gardens High School, just a half a mile down the road, the day started with a lockdown.
Well, our school went on lockdown, so after school, we just passed by her grandma's house, but she was right
Locked
around the
himself
corner,
in the
and we saw
house.
the cop cars.
Neighbors say law enforcement had been here
Locked
since the
himself
morning,
in the
swarming
house.
the home near West 32nd Avenue and West 68th Place. Hialeah PD confirms this was a DHS-led investigation. The subject, reportedly deported and re-entered the country illegally, barricaded himself inside this home. Yam Pereira is the name authorities said over the
Look at that, boy, they
loudspeaker,
tore that
warning
house
the
up. They
subject to
tore that
surrender.
house right up.
The standoff stretched nearly 10 hours, and in the midst of it, smoke. Hialeah Fire Rescue called to the property because of a fire, and now this home is left ripped apart, while this community not only remains curious, but concerned.
Yeah,
Maybe that took all the way until dark.
Like my grandma's
All it was
house, and
way
I come
late.
every day after school. So I feel like it's just like crazy that it could happen so close.
But there's more.
Speed motorcycle chase ending with an arrest after investigators
Check out this
say a
crazy guy.
posted evidence on TikTok.
Deputies say Derek Walker fled at high speed in
And he's up in Santa Rosa County, too.
and they could not stop him safely. Investigators say he left a digital trail after they found a video leading them to his account and to Walker.
He's facing multiple charges, including
Santa Rosa
felony
County
fleeing
don't
or
even
looting.
play.
Our Claudia Nichols with the details on this investigation.
And Claudia, deputies say they found other concerning videos.
They got
That's right, Lenny.
this big prison industry up there in Santa
There was
Rosa.
more on Walker's account. Footage showing him racing through traffic on a motorcycle. Here's the video they say captured the dangerous ride.
He's going to end up killing himself if he continued on this path that he was going down. You can see from the TikTok videos he was egging on and trying to encourage FHP even to chase him.
Tonight,
Crazy.
this TikTok video helped deputies find a high-speed chase suspect on a motorcycle. 18-year-old Derek Walker was arrested Sunday after investigators say he fled at a high rate of
Only
speed
18
on
too.
Highway 90 last month. The Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office says a black motorcycle blew past deputies with a long-action camera pole attached to the back and no license plate. Investigators say they tried to stop Walker in a 35-mile-per-hour zone on Pea Ridge Connector, accelerating to 92 miles an hour, but say they couldn't catch up without putting others at risk.
The deputy turned his lights and sirens on. He saw the deputy and he took off at an even higher rate of speed.
And he did this a lot.
Chief Deputy Randy
he did
Tiff
this a lot.
says after law enforcement lost sight of Walker, he passed another deputy.
And it was so
further down
stupid
the
that he
road,
filmed
but
it.
They still
What a
couldn't
dumbass.
stop him safely. The next day, Tiff says investigators uncovered a TikTok video linked to an account belonging to Walker with what appears
Isn't
to
that
be
crazy?
footage of the chase. According to the arrest report,
That's just
other
wild.
videos posted on the same account showed Walker committing numerous traffic violations, including splitting and passing between vehicles.
Even when you come through, I can tell that it is
He's flying too, man. Look at that.
Executed a search
Ooh.
warrant at a home in Milton and found a helmet and riding gear that
And he's
matched
only
what the
18. He
rider
can't
in
have
the
that much
TikTok
experience.
video was wearing. The report says Walker admitted to fleeing deputies. Tiff says Walker's arrest may have prevented a serious crash or injury.
Sooner or later, this was going to endanger.
Yeah, he's flying. He's flying.
Santa Rosa County, and they were adamant that they wanted this guy off the street before he harmed himself
Damn.
or harmed somebody else.
Good, so close to those cars.
Well, Walker is facing a felony count of fleeing or eluding a law enforcement officer at high speed, 1 count of reckless driving, and 1 count of speeding in excess of 50 miles per hour over the posted speed limit. Court records show his bond was set at $11,000. He is scheduled to appear before a judge.
$11,000.
Gates cameras used to monitor drivers on the road. A judge has now ruled that law enforcement agencies using the cameras must prove you are the person actually driving. It'll impact people right here in Central Florida.
And that judge's opinion, Darlene, could actually have statewide implications. This was a big deal today. Investigative reporter Shannon Butler is live in Orlando, and she has learned a lot about this. Shannon, it's just about those red light cameras right now, though.
You gotta
Greg, and you know it,
watch them cameras, people. You gotta watch them cameras. They come after you.
Controversy over these red light cameras. Some say they're a money grab. Others say they really do save lives. But this latest fight now on our hands, it could change this year and all across the state. In a Kissimmee courtroom today, folks showed up to fight their red light tickets. But what many of them didn't know is that they weren't going to pay them today, because lawyers needed time to figure out how they'll battle it out after
It's all a money grab.
And we
all they
agree
want
that
your money.
Whether the statute is constitutional or not is a question of great public importance.
So, we agree that, no matter the outcome, it's likely going to be appealed, and we would like to get it up to that DCA, sooner rather than later.
Last week, a 21-page order by a Broward County judge granted a defendant's motion to dismiss a photo-enforced traffic citation issued under Florida's red light camera law. The judge's issue that the state law unconstitutionally requires the registered owner to prove they weren't driving. The court found that red light camera cases, although labeled as civil infractions, function as quasi-criminal.
Yeah, quasi-criminal my
said
butt.
that the government should have to prove that beyond a reasonable doubt.
It's up to the owner to disprove their guilt, to throw someone else under the bus if they weren't driving. And
Can't
basic
prove
due
who's
process
driving.
requires the state to prove their allegation. So the state needs to prove who the driver was.
How will they do that?
You can't trust these
Cameras?
AI. You can't trust it.
I don't think they can, but that's the problem with the camera statute.
It's not clear
Don't
what this will mean
trust
for those
AI.
red light
Whatever
tickets
you
or
do,
school
don't trust
zone
AI.
speed tickets just yet. But if the ruling is appealed, it could eventually mean
I
the ruling
can
that
make you an
applies to
alibi
the
with
entire
AI in
state.
10 minutes.
Now, I did reach out to law enforcement who told me they actually do agree with this ruling. There is another hearing on red.
Employee caught on camera shooting another man in the
this
face
is
on
bad.
Halloween night says that he acted in self-defense.
But as NBC6's Christian
Got
Colon
homeboy in
reports,
the mouth.
the judge didn't buy that argument, and now he's
Got
headed
him
to
in the
trial.
mouth.
Road rage on Halloween night escalated into gunfire when 2 men confronted each other on the side of the road. Video shows when a man dressed in a Harry Potter costume approached another car after some sort of reckless driving incident on the road. Shortly after the other driver stepped out of his car, he opened fire.
You are being charged, I'm letting you know, with what's on the arrest affidavit of first-degree felony, murder.
He ain't gonna stand his ground out of that one.
The second degree with a deadly weapon, a firearm specifically.
The shooter was Emilio Rodriguez, an off-duty Miami-Dade
What an
fire
idiot.
rescue safety specialist for 18 years. Rodriguez fired shortly after Yuri Cerda, the man in the Harry Potter costume,
him in the
approached
mouth,
his
people.
car. Cerda was shot in the upper lip and managed to drive himself to urgent care.
Hey, relax, relájate, mi amor, relájate. Todo está bien, okay?
Rodriguez claimed in court he shot in self-defense because he feared for his life. Judge Michelle Delancey disagreed.
This was nothing but Mr. Rodriguez seeking to shoot Mr. Cerda because they had just engaged in this road rage incident, and there was nothing to it that was self-defense.
Shouldn't be
Rodriguez
taking this
asked the
long to
court
go
to
to
drop
trial.
the attempted murder charge under Florida's
Taking too
stand
long
your
to go
ground
to
law,
trial.
but the judge denied the request, ruling that although the victim was the initial aggressor by approaching the car, Rodriguez was simply angry after being cut off several times on the road. The judge also mentioned the most telling was what Rodriguez told
Too much road
police.
rage going on.
Him, my purpose was to scare him. He kept coming at me. He threw his arms up. I wasn't trying to shoot him. It was a warning shot. Serta started it. I finished it.
And it will now be up to a jury to decide whether Rodriguez acted in self-defense. If convicted, he faces a minimum of 25 years in prison. A trial could begin later this year. As for the victim, Serta tells me he is out of the hospital and recovering.
We begin tonight with the WSMV4 investigation.
This is a good one.
Exclusive, showing how ICE agents are going to local courthouses to make immigration arrests as people show up for traffic cases. Only WSMV4 investigative reporter Stacey Cameron was there when one of these operations went down in Robertson County.
I laughed, though.
Stacey
spoke
to the loved ones of several
I'm not gonna lie, I
taken
laughed.
into ICE custody. Did they have any idea that they would be arrested?
People had no idea ICE was there because agents were hiding before court started. One attorney who didn't want to go on camera told me these people are walking into a trap. They get a ticket, they show up to court to handle it, and ICE is there just waiting. Inside the Robertson County General Sessions Courthouse, our cameras were rolling as ICE detained multiple people called to court on traffic violations. We watched 8 people plead guilty to driving without a license. They were walked to pay their fines, and that's when ICE moved in.
He's not a criminal. He works every day, right? He helps his family.
That woman whose face we agree.
I'm going to give you a little free advice. If you're already wanted because you're here illegally or you have a warrant, now ain't the time to start doing crimes, people. Now is not the time to start doing crimes. You lay low.
Rita Consil says she came with her friend Gustavo Calmo, one of the first people detained. She says he's never been in trouble until the ticket that brought him here.
Instead of them chasing someone that works every day, they should be chasing criminals out there.
We watched ICE handcuff 6 of the people.
You had time to get legal
room,
status,
including
people.
Diego Gonzalez.
You had
His
time.
wife didn't want to go on camera, but holding their young son told us
It's heartbreaking
he came to
stuff,
the U.S.
but-
last year seeking asylum.
Damn, I
from
wish I could
Mexico
afford a cell
and has
phone that night.
2027 immigration court date. 2 people did walk free. Like the woman you see here.
You're going though, honey. You just didn't have no one to pick up your daughter. That's all.
After learning there was no one
Don't
there
be so
to
happy.
take
They're gonna
custody
ship you
of the
out.
teen. We tried speaking with agents inside the courthouse.
Are you a federal ICE agent?
No comment.
And asked the sheriff's office and the court to comment on the operation. So far, they won't talk. The only people speaking are family and friends of those detained.
I hate to see them breaking up families, but
they don't know
what has to be done.
or when they'll see
They
their
knew they was
loved
wrong
ones
when they
again.
came. This is crazy mess right here. Look at this, y'all.
7 News broke the story of Homestead officer Henry Quintero's arrest during what police say was a
drug
DUI
cop.
hit-and-run wreck last September.
Do you have any comment on your charges?
This time, I'm sorry. With his criminal case pending, body camera footage of the aftermath was obtained exclusively by 7 News.
So you saw what happened? Saw what happened?
Yeah. He hit a car and he took off and I followed him. Responding Florida City cops seen interacting with the brave witness who watched the broad daylight rollover crash at US 1 and Palm Drive. We'd acquired his 911 audio as he called cops on a cop before also following the damaged on-the-run getaway SUV.
I need to send a cop. Our cops ain't bad.
If not for that good Samaritan witness in the white SUV, cops might not have found their arrestee as quickly.
Take that car and flip it over.
Somehow, only minor injuries resulted from the multi-vehicle smash-up.
He's getting into another vehicle. They're going to take him away. They're going to take him away. Over here. Come on. Come over here.
Yeah, look, he tried to run. That's fleeing and eluding.
72nd Ave. Officer Quintero is out of his bashed SUV and in the passenger seat of a Mercedes. 2 people had come to the area to drive him away, according to the witness. He speaks to a woman while being apprehended.
Let the car move over.
It wasn't this color you had.
He hands his keys to that woman, who was blurred by the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office.
I'm gonna put you in my vehicle. Let's go. Come on.
Finding himself on the wrong side of the law, this
I like that
cop
they said it's
is in a
scared.
police cruiser, headed to jail.
Where's the towel?
All right, here's another one. This one's nice. This is a sweet. This is a good cop of the day, good cop of the week, right here. Dave's little boy.
Not that far.
Yeah, but you got to get around the bend.
He's okay.
It won't bother him about. Look over the window right here.
Yeah.
And tell me.
There you go, a little bit this way.
Now pull it.
Yep.
Pull it.
You're on it. Pull it. Nope.
Mona?
Yeah, you're on. You're in it.
Watch out, Pop. No, Pop. Come here.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad that they saved him.
Hey, come pull this handle.
It can get hot down here real quick. Then get hot down here real quick.
I got this.
And it's a happy ending, see?
Thank you.
Even in Florida.
State lawmakers just passed a bill regulating large data centers.
However, at the last minute, key pieces were changed, and as Capitol Bureau reporter Mackenzie Laporte explained,
this is good news for Florida and hopefully your town too, everybody. Good news.
The AI boom is fueling a pretty big debate here in Florida, with growing fears over these massive data centers taking over the state and even hiking up utility rates for locals. As tech companies race to build AI data centers across the country, concerns over higher electric bills, constant noise, and water usage is surfacing in communities on the local level.
It's a public health threat.
And right here on the state level.
Right now, there are a lot more questions than answers.
As the debate develops, residents continue to push back against these pricey projects, including proposed AI data centers in Polk and Citrus counties that could impact the Tampa Bay region.
I'm a Polk County native, and I was very glad to see
I'm tired of paying all these tech people
raise
bills.
up and use their voices to express concerns
Taking
about
millions
this
of dollars a
It's
day.
an issue on the governor's radar as well.
Can't even buy eggs.
Passing on any of these costs to ratepayers in the state of Florida.
DeSantis says these centers could soon take over the state and drive up electric costs.
Why would we want to put those costs on people that are having to pay for groceries and all these other things?
Inside the State House, lawmakers are already making moves. The Senate recently passed a measure that would ensure data centers cover their own costs.
This bill does what I think a lot of our bills should do. It plans for Florida's future.
But the House added their own changes. After the House's changes, it remains
they're
unknown
gonna
whether the governor will sign
screw
this
everything
version
up.
into law, leaving many still questioning
course.
who will pay the price of these data centers. We'll be keeping an eye out here at the Capitol. Mackenzie Laporte.
What started as a traffic stop in Tooele County has led to accusations of politically motivated retaliation within the sheriff's office and the firing of a detective. KSL investigator Daniela Rivera has been working to get to the bottom of all of this. Has the exclusive story for us tonight. Daniela, what did you find?
Well, we started looking into this back in January when we got a tip from someone who was not employed by the Tooele County Sheriff's Office. Here's what we found.
We're gonna screw it up. Oh, this is
a Tooele County Sheriff's
this is wild, everybody. This is wild.
Expired registration. The police report states the deputy discovered marijuana in the vehicle, including a THC vape in the driver's lap.
Politics, even with our police, it's just insane.
The driver on suspicion of DUI, possession, and an expired registration. But the deputy didn't know as he drove
Some things
to the
politics should never be involved in.
arrested one of the sheriff's relatives.
Just like every other family, my family members are human.
That's Sheriff Paul Wimmer, and this is Andrew
I
Ross.
stand with the
He says
detective.
the arresting deputy confided in him.
On this one.
That the sheriff interrupted his DUI investigation by asking what he had.
The next day, records show the sheriff posted bail for his relative, and when the case went to court in October, all charges were dropped.
That's suspicious, weird, and a conflict.
The sheriff doesn't see it that way.
There was nothing influenced by me that
Wimmer.
would compromise the
Oh,
integrity of
Wimmer.
the sheriff's office.
The case was dismissed by Chief Deputy County Attorney Gary Searle with
Paul
the
Wimmer's
note,
a
needs to
dirtbag.
complete counseling. In January, Searle told
punished
us
his
they
own
couldn't
cop.
prove the DUI because the deputy didn't observe any dangerous driving. And while he said the driver had marijuana in his system and failed sobriety tests, Searle said those are subjective. He said he dismissed the possession charge based on the defendant's age, lack of criminal history, and promise to complete treatment, and that he did not know about the defendant's familial connection to the sheriff when he made that decision.
They could have pressure washed that thing. That was a lot of help.
Sheriff influenced the dismissal of the DUI case.
Clean up your building, people.
Is now central to Goss's firing.
I'm dumbfounded that all this happened to me in the first place.
In late January, Goss, who was a detective in the Tooele County Sheriff's Office, says he found himself the target of an internal affairs investigation and questioned
of course
in
it's
what's known as
retaliation.
a Garrity interview about whether he spread rumors about the dismissed DUI case.
I said, I haven't done anything wrong here. It was brought to my attention. And as the interview went on, they kept asking me the same questions, and I'd answer the same.
In January, Goss was placed on paid leave, but then spent weeks assigned to watch security cameras in the basement of the courthouse, instead of spending his time working on the roughly 30 cases he was assigned to. On February 23rd, he received a termination notice signed by the sheriff. The department determined Goss lied during his Garrity interview, a finding that puts his certification as a peace officer on the line after a 16-year career.
I'm terminated, my livelihood, my 4 kids, my wife, my house, bills, just because you're trying to cover up yourself, that you're going
Damn
to
right.
destroy somebody else. Sickening.
You have a right to be angry.
Was conducted as per
This man abused his power, the sheriff.
Both men accused the other of being politically motivated. Goss openly supports Ryan Carver, Wimmer's opponent in this year's election.
Politics. Get politics out of everything. Jeez.
Run a political campaign against me by Mr. Goss.
Sheriff Wimmer says he's limited in what he can say about the situation because Goss is appealing his termination.
This case was dismissed back in October. Where was the...
See, here's the problem. There's a sheriff that he's running for sheriff again, and he's openly lying to people. He's lying. It's clear. When he put this guy in the basement, it made him go through old files when he had open investigations because he was a detective. This guy is punishing him because he favors a different sheriff than him. That's crazy. That's politics, man. It's ruining this country.
This upstanding effort to root out misconduct by Mr. Goss back then.
2 men, 2 different stories in a profession where your word is everything, awaiting the outcome of Goss's appeal.
I want my job back.
Well, that's pretty.
The prosecutor who dismissed the case, Gary Searle, told us in January that he warned the driver if he didn't complete treatment, he would refile the criminal case. Then today, Searle questioned whether the vehicle registration was actually expired and the legality of the stop. We're still looking into that. Mike and Deanie.
Yeah, we'll see what comes in the future here. All right.
We've uncovered tonight that the trooper,
the Tennessee thing.
8 sober drivers for DUI, has now been retrained on how to conduct DUIs.
Whoa.
We know
this is a mess, all these DUIs that these people are innocent.
Because I obtained their email.
Everyone in lies just because you got a badge. That's bullshit.
Of the scrutiny they're
Using my language.
It's June 26, 2025, and Nashville Sergeant Andrew Perez, seen here on Facebook, knows what WSMV4 Investigates has been reporting, how troopers have been arresting sober drivers for DUI and getting sued.
Get anything to drink today? No.
In that June email, Perez writes, the media is closely scrutinizing everything we're doing involving impaired drivers. I don't want any of you to have to deal with being in the news, getting fired, or being sued because you were lazy or in a rush and didn't do your job the way you were trained. He then writes that each trooper acknowledged the email using the term direct, and among those acknowledging direct, Trooper James Zahn. 2 months later, on August 14th, we air our investigation showing Zahn had arrested 7 sober drivers for DUI.
Whoa. I have not been drinking, sir. I really haven't been drinking.
It's at that point that THP starts getting
That's just
emails
wrong.
from the public calling for a full and transparent investigation into deeply concerning conduct by Trooper James Zahn. And to Zahn specifically, I'll make sure to keep clear for
people's lives get ruined.
Tennessee. THP Sergeant Derek Spires, seen here on Instagram, writes back to Zahn, "Don't let this stuff get you down. Keep doing the job the way you have been instructed." Then, 6 days later, we report on an 8th sober driver arrested by Zahn. And this time, she's a former U.S. attorney.
I think I make people too many.
On August 27th, an email from the THP's communication director reads, they'd recorded a video with Colonel
Matt this is wrong.
that addresses the public regarding the sober DUI issue. But he writes the governor's office then reviewed that video, and they decided to craft a statement they can review for a possible reply to WSMV4 Investigates. On August 29th, Perez writes to Zahn, directing him that he's now going to be retrained on DUI, scheduling a 4-hour block
he knows he's
DUI
done.
training with a lieutenant. For 3 days now, we've emailed and called the governor's office asking for an explanation as to why they blocked the release of that video. No response yet. We also tried to get a copy of that video, but lawyers for the state denied that request. But we're going to keep trying to get it. As of tonight, 3 federal lawsuits have been filed against troopers.
And that woman was a powerful woman right there. He messed up right there on that one.
Resident Tracy Sprouse and Coffee County resident Hunter Lundgren are all suing Zahn.
He had a toy company or something. Was something to do with a toy company.
Neither drugs nor alcohol in their system.
For tonight at 6, can the sheriff determine whether or not a person is too dangerous to be out of jail, or is that a judge's call?
This is a wild story.
Right now between Metro and the Las Vegas Justice Court. And
imagine the sheriff deciding you're getting to stay in jail even though the judge said you could go home.
To say News Now investigator David Charnes with how that question is now making its way to the state's highest court. David?
Brian, Denise, we report on crime, of course, every day, and a lot of times you hear us say
the judge says you can go home. You going home. I'm going to let you go. You pay your bond, whatever, and you got to put this doohickey on your ankle. But then the sheriff goes, no, we think that he's too violent. We can't let that. Ain't the sheriff's job. Sheriff's job is not to prosecute you. It's not to try you. It's not to punish you. It's not to. He arrests you on probable cause and probable cause, not suspicion. Then you go to jail. Then you bond out. The judge says, okay, you can get bonded until you go to trial. There can be conditions to those bonds. And this time, the condition was you have to put a thing around your ankle. But the sheriff, the almighty sheriff, like the one we just saw, says, hey, no, he's too dangerous to let out. Well, the judge didn't think so. Now, is the judge right? I don't know. Is the judge wrong? I don't know. But I don't want the sheriff, which is is no more or less political than the judge, making that decision. Because the lawyer that you hired didn't go to the police department or the sheriff's department. He went to the judge. I hired my lawyer to go to the judge. He argues my case. The judge says, you're right, you're wrong, whatever, but we're going to give you a bond until your court date. And this sheriff steps in, and that's crazy.
Person is out of jail wearing an ankle monitor. Metro oversees hundreds of these defendants, but recently the department said one man was just too dangerous. A judge ordered his release.
We have to take a look at that and say, is this somebody who our electronic supervision program can monitor safely in the community? This is an issue of public safety, David.
It's an issue of public safety that has 2 institutions of public safety coming to a head at the Nevada Supreme Court. Is it a judge or the sheriff who has the final say about a person's release back into our community amid pending criminal charges?
There's absolutely competing narratives about public safety occurring within our community, and there's different approaches, too.
Assistant General Counsel for Metro Mike Dickerson is on one side of that approach after Metro denied this man, Joshua Sanchez Lopez, a spot in the department's Alternatives to Incarceration program. Metro says Sanchez Lopez has a criminal history, including 35 arrests.
I agree he's got a horrible record. Yeah, he's got a bad record. But the lawyer that he hired fought for him in front of the judge, not in front of the sheriff. The sheriff should have no jurisdiction over you staying in or not.
In visits to prison. After his most recent arrest earlier this year involving a stolen vehicle, Sanchez Lopez was back in Las Vegas Justice Court, where a judge set bail at $25,000, adding if Sanchez Lopez posted bond, he could get out of jail and essentially await trial on house arrest. But in the days afterward, Metro sent the court this letter saying Sanchez Lopez poses an unreasonable risk to public safety and will not be released. That risk, according to Metro, includes a past incident of evading officers. They point to these snapshots of him with a gun, where he said he got, quote, chased again.
The safety of our officers is paramount. The safety of the public is key. And the key here is Sheriff McMahill will not violate the law to appease the Las Vegas Justice Court in letting out people that he deems to be dangerous.
But not dangerous enough for Judge Eric Goodman to order Sanchez Lopez's release
Looks
from
like a
the program
liberal.
anyway, saying failure for the sheriff and Metro to do so could result in sanctions for contempt. When Metro said no, the court put him on their own pretrial release program.
Today is not the day.
Today was supposed to be the day Goodman heard arguments from Sanchez Lopez's public defenders and Metro lawyers about the release, though he continued the hearing. The issue bringing to head ongoing dialogue about bail and release in Southern Nevada, years in the making.
We have a system that's set up so that people can get out of jail quickly. And sometimes there just needs to be a little bit more thought given to it because lives are on the line.
Sanchez.
Right, the judge just doesn't. The judge is the one that decides whether you get bond or bail or not. The sheriff should have no say in that whatsoever.
Lopez's public defender provided us this statement saying, quote, Metro's argument is flat wrong. It is the job of the elected judge to decide whether someone charged with a crime should be released and under what conditions. The idea that a Metro employee can overrule a judge's release order and keep someone locked up should worry anyone who believes in the Constitution and the rule of law. The Metro says so far this year, the department has denied 14 people.
That's false imprisonment.
Electronic monitoring program. No hearing date yet for when the state Supreme Court could hear about this. I'm David Charnes, 8 News Now.
A federal civil rights lawsuit has been filed
there you go.
After a shootout between Sims police officers and a business owner. And we first
this is wild.
All of our digital platforms just a few hours ago. The lawsuit filed today names
they out and out shot that man. He's lucky he's alive.
2 officers who shot Johnny Bowman inside his business early in the morning on January 4th. Our Natalie Williamson has been following this story. Natalie, what does Bowman's attorney allege in this lawsuit?
A lot, Cameron. This 40-page lawsuit claims the 2 officers wrongfully entered Johnny Bowman's business and violated the Sims Police Department policy manual. And tonight, while the criminal case sits in the hands of the district attorney's office, the lawsuit also alleges
in his own business, everybody in his own business.
Medical attention.
Tonight, this federal civil rights lawsuit has been filed after an early morning shootout between Sims Police and Johnny Bowman Jr. inside Bowman's Auto Air. According to the complaint, Bowman's attorney, Brian Comer, names Austin Collier and Brandon Murphy as the officers involved. Comer says they shot Bowman inside his business January 4th around 3 a.m. The lawsuit claims Collier and Murphy entered Bowman's business without a warrant or probable cause. In January, Sims Police Chief Todd Friend said the officers responded to reports of burglaries in the area and saw a cut padlock on the front door. The chief says the officers announced themselves. But the lawsuit says Bowman was sleeping in a travel trailer inside the building and woke up to flashlights and did not hear police identify themselves. Comer says Bowman armed himself with a .22 caliber pistol, believing an intruder was inside. The complaint alleges Bowman.
Imagine being in your own home, right? Or your own business. It's your business. You own it. This is the Obscure Destinations Outdoor Studio. This isn't my house. This is just. That's the lake. That's the bird sanctuary. This is my office. And my outside office. So I guess the cops can just come in here and decide to shoot me because I have a gun on the table, and believe me, I have a gun on the table. So then they can just shoot me. If you come over here in the dark, I'm coming after you. I don't. You can't come on people's property. They didn't have a warrant. They didn't have a warrant.
And cracked open the trailer door with his pistol in hand, and an officer shone a flashlight in his face, temporarily blinding him. Moments later, the document says Bowman heard someone shout, "He has a gun." The lawsuit claims Bowman was then shot 5 times. His lawyer says he did not point the gun or fire at the officers before he was hit. He only returned fire after being shot. The federal lawsuit also mentions Bowman's 911 calls, which Fox 10 News first reported on. The transcripts show Bowman called for help 3 times, saying, quote, "I have no harmful intent to these police officers whatsoever. None." The lawsuit also alleges Sims PD deliberately denied Bowman access to emergency aid. As we first reported in January, Bowman was bleeding inside his business for about an hour before he was treated. Now we're learning, according to the lawsuit, it was actually an hour and a half. And according to Bowman's attorney, an employee who was inside the business came out after the shooting and told officers that Bowman had thrown his pistol to the floor of the trailer. He was unarmed, had been shot multiple times, and was lying on the bed in the trailer, bleeding profusely, medical attention. After that exchange, the lawsuit claims Bowman didn't get medical help for approximately 45 minutes.
45 minutes. Imagine that.
A jury trial, compensatory
You could have bled out in 3,
medical
well,
bills,
10.
lost wages, punitive damages,
Well,
interest,
5,
and
anyway.
court costs. Bowman has not been charged with any crime. I've reached out to Sims Mayor Brandon Van Hook for comment, but I have not heard back. The Mobile County Sheriff's Office investigated and turned the case over to the DA's office for grand jury review. Cameron?
And Natalie, the lawsuit also names Chief Friend and the city as defendants.
Yeah, that's right, Cameron. In part, that's because the lawsuit says the officers were not disciplined, and the chief and city officials publicly defended the constitutional violations by the officers, which makes them liable as well. I'm told Bowman is at home recovering.
The Las Vegas Justice Court, Judge Goodman, or the Clark County District Attorney's Office. 20 state Supreme Court decision requires judges to determine the so-called reasonable bail and requires court hold prompt custody hearings.
Well, dinner plans did not go as planned for a first responder who was just hoping to get a salad. The EMT from Madison County says she was shocked when she says she got
How stupid do you have to be to look at an EMT, a person that saves lives, and think that they're ice? This is what I'm telling you. We got to get these politics out of shit, man. Excuse my language again. You got to get politics out of this garbage. These people, we got nurses wanting to kill people that didn't vote for who they want to vote for. We got doctors wanting to treat people. We had all these people during the pandemic, these really busy nurses dancing around like it was Halloween. I mean, it's just absolutely insane. And if you don't see it, I'm sorry, but you should. You should see what's going on. I don't care if you're MAGA or if you're Biden or if you're Obama. I don't care if you voted for Ilhan Omar. I don't care who you voted for. If you're my neighbor, if you're my friend, you're still my friend. It doesn't mean that we can't get along. My people don't even know who I voted for. I voted for the fish and pig in somewhere in Waynesville, in Farmville, in Norfolk. That's what I voted for, was the fish and pig, the best barbecue in the world, right there. But this is craziness, man.
denied service there.
Not sponsored, by the way.
But now he joins us here, Rafael Sanchez.
They are not sponsored.
On what led up to the shop refusing
They did not
service
pay me for that.
EMT.
Michelle and Dan, good evening. The food order was really simple, just a salad. The customer was surprised, though, with, of course, the response. In her heart, she believes her uniform sparked this dining dilemma.
I'm an EMT.
Christina Hanna is an emergency medical technician. She'll give you the 411 on the personal rewards of responding to 911 calls.
You're their most important person and on their worst day. Knowing you made a difference, you were able to help somebody when they really needed it, you were their person.
On February 5th.
I was in shock. I've never had this happen.
Christina in uniform pulled into the Subway restaurant on Broadway Street. She went inside to get a salad to go since she was heading to work.
Didn't go as planned. I actually was refused service while in uniform. They told no salad. Left hungry. I flat out asked, "Sir, are you refusing to serve me?" And I said, you can't do this. And the response I got was, "Yes, I can."
After our on-site interview, I invited Christina inside to lunch at the Subway there in Anderson and left the owner a note requesting a call to discuss this situation. No response to my request. So I sent a text on February the 26th, which was read after 2:30 in the afternoon, but no official response. I did reach out to Subway's corporate office by phone and through their online press portal. Following 3 requests on February the 26th, March the 3rd, and March the 6th, I did receive an email saying someone would respond, but nothing yet.
We need to do better. We need to stop the hate. We've got to come together better as a human race.
This remains a developing story after I sent a second text to the owner on Friday. The owner did speak to Christina. She apologized and offered her a free meal. Christina says that the owner also asked what could be done to stop the story. Nothing, because we're going to move forward, right? I hope the owner can reach out in the days to come to discuss this situation, the future of employee training, and how to prevent this from happening in the future. That's all that Christina wanted as well. We'll keep on top of this as this develops. In the studio, Rafael Sanchez.
9 defendants on trial for an ambush attack at an ICE facility in Johnson County that happened last July. Fox 4's Dion Anglin has covered this trial, this 2-week trial, in fact, from the very beginning. She's now in our newsroom with the details. Dion.
Hi there, Heather. That's right. The verdict comes after 12 days of testimony and more than 15 hours of jury deliberations. The case, the U.S. government's first ever Antifa-related prosecution.
Antifa.
Well, 9 defendants now convicted in the
Wow.
Prairie Land ICE Detention Center case. Among the 12 charges, the 2 most serious are providing support for terrorism and attempted murder. 8 of the 9 defendants were found guilty on the terrorism charges. Only 1 defendant, the accused ringleader, Benjamin Song, was convicted of attempted murder. The reading of the lengthy verdict itself became problematic and contained an error on several counts for 1 defendant. That prompted the judge to send the jury back into deliberations to correct that issue. This case stems from July 4th, 2025. All but 1 of the defendants were present at the Alvarado ICE detention facility to stage what they called a noise demonstration using fireworks. They also brought firearms. When employees intervened and called police, the response resulted in an Alvarado police officer shot and injured. At that scene, police recovered multiple rifles, pistols, 2-way radios, and body armor. The defendants...
They were setting them people up to murk them. They were trying to murk them people.
Well, this scene after the verdict, supporters chanted, "We see you, we love you," outside the courthouse in Fort Worth as the prisoners were being transported away. There has been a show of support for the defendants throughout the trial. This, again, 3 weeks total, 65 separate verdicts for 9 defendants. Again, Benjamin Song, the only defendant convicted of committing violence, attempted murder. Sentencing for each will be handled by the judge at a later date.
Tonight, 5 Investigates reveals how a convicted fraudster is connected to state grant money awarded to a Minnesota school district.
For months, investigative reporter Eric Rasmussen has been pushing for transparency and asking who's looking out for taxpayers here.
Well, Lindsay Kevin, the state gave Faribault Public Schools
more
Minnesota
$1 million.
It was a grant to prevent drug abuse back in 2022. We're following up now because one of the champions of that cause was charged with fraud just months after the money started.
For the record, though, I'd like to say that while I'm no fan of Joe Biden or anybody in his administration, they were investigating them people in 2022. So that was before Donald Trump got elected. So you can't throw everything against the Biden administration because this was already, their FBI was already on top of it. So again, politics, get the politics out of it. Don't worry about who I voted for. I'm not going to worry about who you voted for. That's why we vote behind the curtain. I don't need to know who you voted for. But this started in 2022.
Flowing. We need help. They're the first words on this application to the state for $1 million grant.
But we do need to get rid of the
those
Somalis.
words to the woman who said them.
This is my opinion.
Ali. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Lul Ali.
We need help. It's not just a school. We need help. Big help.
Months after urging the Faribault School
Go get
Board
big
to
help
go
in
after
Somalia,
grant money
bitch.
from the state in 2022, prosecutors charged Lul Ali with stealing $5 million from taxpayers. She's now one of more than 50 people who pleaded guilty to fraud connected to feeding our future.
We've had several meetings with this lady and a group of people over the last 3 months about it.
These recordings reveal Ali played a key role in the school district pursuing the grant from the Minnesota Department of Human Services to fight drug abuse within Faribault's minority population. At the same time, she was actively stealing millions of dollars from taxpayers. What did you think when you learned that?
And I will say that was quite a shock to us. That was not something that was known to us during that time period, and that is something that the district took as a giant blow, and we did then really start vetting who was it that we were working with.
That's not the only question we had for Faribault Superintendent Jamie Benty. When the money's coming to the Faribault School District, where does the buck stop when it comes to accountability?
Well, I mean, that's an easy
As
answer.
a Somalis.
Mr. Chair, the motion passes 5-1.
Thank you.
Former school board member Richard Olson was the lone no vote on accepting the grant from
Taxation is
DHS.
theft.
Was something funny with that. It's something strange.
Later, he said getting information about how the district was spending the money was difficult.
It's just not given to the board. It should be for the whole board and not to a selected group.
And you've asked for updates before?
Oh, yeah. And do I get them? No.
Does the district have a transparency problem?
I don't believe we have a transparency problem.
By the time I showed up to speak with the superintendent at a public meeting, we had already spent 6 weeks asking the district how it spent all of that grant money. Now, after an open records request, they sent us this stack of documents. But there really wasn't much detail in here beyond total amounts for salaries and payments to nonprofit partners. So we pushed for more. Did you ask anybody here at the district how these partners were performing?
No.
So I have not. That has not made it to my level at this point.
2 days later, we got a new stack of records from the district. Finally, details about how it spent $979,000, receipts for new soccer goals and other equipment for a Somali youth soccer league, as well as accounting for after-school programming.
No rice and bananas?
Events. All of that is supposed to be collected by the state.
Theoretically, there's 2 layers of accountability in there.
Oh, she's pretty.
And that's how it is supposed to work.
Nonprofit attorney Jen Urban says her clients are under more scrutiny than ever. From a statewide crackdown on fraud to lawmakers proposing new restrictions on grants and public assistance, transparency is critical. With everything that's been going on, are these fair questions to ask about where this money was going?
I think it's very fair to ask the question of where the money is going. And I think that as taxpayers, there should be some accountability there.
Now, this whole time, we've been asking the Minnesota Department of Human Services to talk to us about how it keeps tabs on this grant money. They've refused all of our interview requests so far, but just this morning, DHS gave us this new stack of records 2 months after we started asking for it. Yeah, as you'd imagine, I've been going through it all day. The bottom line here is that DHS found
it doesn't look like it. The papers aren't frivoled or nothing.
Grant. But again, this is all information that had not been shared until, of course, we followed up.
Well, now to this one. If you've not seen the video for this, it's wild. It's hard to watch and just to understand how this could possibly happen. But a man is under arrest after surveillance video shows him shoving 2 kids off of bikes. This happened in Sandy Springs, right around City Springs.
Okay, check this out. Look, man, I understand you get tired of kids doing crazy stuff, and you never know these days because these kids got this thing where they ride their bike and they pop wheelies and they run right up close to you, then swerve away real quick. But this guy is a complete dickhead. Excuse my language again, but this guy's a dick. You'll see.
Police say it happened on the sidewalk there, so you have to watch this to see what I'm talking about here. I want to watch too. Okay, there we go. So the boy's riding the bike. You see he pushes one into the fountain. The other one hit his head as he hit the ground. So just terrible. It appears to show who we're talking about here. Police have identified the suspect as Stephen Catterton, and you can see, you know, what appears to happen in all of this. Officers say they used this surveillance video, okay, not this one, but the one we showed you, to identify Catterton. They actually found him later that night watching a concert at City Springs, so in the same place where this happened. And police escorted him off in handcuffs, which is what this body cam video is showing. So in a statement, Sandy Springs police called the behavior unacceptable. They added pushing kids off bicycles is a quick way to meet their officers. That's what they said about it. Body cam video shows Catterton trying to argue a little bit with officers. He's turned away from the camera, though, so you really can't hear and kind of make out what he's saying. But what you hear the officer say in the audio of all this is that he can take it up with the judge, is what they're saying about that. So we actually have a little bit more on this. Our Brittany Edney took over the story today. So let's listen to what she found out about it.
It looked like investigators got video of the incident right over here from the security camera that overlooks the sidewalk. This is a spot where investigators say that a man shoved two young teen boys off their bikes, one of them into this fountain behind me.
Take a look at this video. It starts off with a man in a blue and cream plaid shirt and blue jeans walking down the sidewalk. Then it looks like he aggressively pushes two teen boys off their respective bikes, with one of them landing on the sidewalk, the other in a fountain. Police responded, found the surveillance video, and that night arrested Stephen Catterton while he was sitting and watching a concert at City Springs. You can see them pull him out of the concert while he was sitting and watching from a seat in the back of the venue. And here's the interaction between Catterton and the arresting officers.
For your arrest for assaulting juveniles. We have it on camera. Now, sir, we watched the video. Well, you can tell that to the judge.
Sandy Springs police wrote in a statement, quote, "Pushing kids off bicycles is not only unacceptable, it's also a quick way to meet our officers. If Mr. Catterton happens to be your neighbor, you may want to use caution."
In that body cam footage, you can hear Catterton saying something to the arresting officer, but because of the way his body was positioned away from that camera, it's hard to really make out what exactly he said. However, you could hear the arresting officer reply back, "Take it up with the judge."
To the harsh criticism of a Colorado police officer charged with failing to report a crash. A crash investigators say he caused while off duty. As your investigator, Brian Moss, shows us, some of the
I'm going to have to restart this thing. We're going to have to redo this because everything right now on my entire system is dragging. And I'm sorry, but I'll be here in a bit.